best way to describe devotion and consciousness, and devotion is the best way to experience consciousness. And therefore, any so-called devotee who even attempt to describe consciousness is not in fact a devotee. Genuine devotees should not be engaged with the description of consciousness. They should be engaged with the experience of consciousness. So whatever you are going to say is meaningless.
I completely agree with this, actually, because it was one of our first points, is that consciousness cannot be explained by words, and it should be experienced. And
So they agree that we
won. We agree. So we should all experience it.
End of debate.
Number 99.
Number 9,
Disagree, maybe.
No. You lose the sorry.
But please, guys, you need to record this.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So you have to be smart.
See, the observer changes the...
Yes, but...
Okay, so what's your argument?
The eternal witness.
Our arguments are
About what?
Well, our point was that intuition is a point, and that it takes over when rationality or science cannot explain something else.
Yeah.
Like when it reaches a point where there is no more explanation, we just, like science says, oh, there's something more. But you can experience what this something more is.
The critical point is why we need science in that field is that the feelings and also experiences may be guided by dogma or may be caught in some strange ideas which lead astray from the path. So it needs some guidelines, and these guidelines, as rationality has been given to us by Supreme Consciousness, so we should use it to stay on the path and know what we are doing and not being affected by some strange ideas. So we had that example that, for instance, about praying to statues. So Baba said you should not offend the feeling of people. So we are not offending their bhakti, but from the practical science of Tantra, it's not so good to pray to a stone monument. So in that case, you need science to distinguish between, okay, bhakti is okay, but scientifically, it's not a good way.
There's something like there's a new thing.
Is it possible to add something?
Yes.
And because you mentioned intuition takes over when rationality or science cannot explain something else. But I would actually point out the fact that it's not that science cannot explain it or rationality cannot explain it. It's just that maybe our capacity of being rational is not enough. So the limitation is not on science or rationality. It's more in our capacity. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would agree, but that's why we then trust in supreme consciousness, in
Intuition consciousness.
Yeah.
Is guiding. It's
Because
much more precise, no?
Mm-hmm.
It's much more precise intuition. People find themselves in a situation of danger. If you follow your mind, your rationality, maybe you will catch the right thing to do. But if you follow your heart, your intuition, your inside, your true self, is going to tell exactly what to do. Your consciousness is guiding you. So the point here is, are we connected most of the time with our consciousness, or we are here in our mind, like the hamster in the wheel, thinking about so many things, dogmas and this. Baba called this psychic extravaganza. When we are caught in our mind, identify with our thinking, is not bringing to happiness, is not bringing to to know our true self. It's not bringing to be one with the consciousness. We need to quiet the mind. In fact, they say to do meditation, kirtan, all the tools. I'm not going now to mention everything. So that is the key. Very clear and very straight. Rationality, mind doesn't bring us anywhere really. It's a tool, it has to be used in the right way, but not to identify with it, not to be ruled by it.
Just to react, because Lily already said, the mind is a tool. We should use it accordingly. You just mentioned it could be used wrong, in a wrong way, it could mislead us, but in scientific approach, we use it accordingly. Like Baba did, he did the structure.
What means accordingly?
Yes, I explained now. So he said how to do practices. Baba gave us a reason. Yeah, he explained how the higher samadhis are reached. He showed us experiments. You know.
Samadhi.
Yes, he showed us experiments how it could be done, so others could understand it, not only trust what he said, but it was an experiment what he gave, and he gave us structure. He gave us kirtan, not like just follow and dance. You know, he explained us how to do it, and we now know why it is so, because science proves the connection, for example, of the tip toy with the higher gland here. Teaching.
Wait a moment. But excuse me, you explain samadhi based on this that you're saying now, the mind. So I think samadhi. What is samadhi then?
So we are getting off the question. We are not debating whether intuition is higher than rationality. We're talking about what's the best way to explain it. So that's the question.
What is the
That's
best
the
way
matter
to
of the
explain?
debate. Is devotion or science a better way of explaining consciousness?
Yeah, devotional consciousness.
Yeah, not a better way of experiencing it.
No, it is.
Right? So the question is explaining it. Now, if you want to explain some, for example, the very example that you gave about if you respond from intuition in a situation of danger, you will have a better result than if you use your rationality. All right? So there are many things that can't be explained, and you can conduct scientific experiments that show that intuition works better than rationality in certain situations. You can use scientific experiments to demonstrate the truth of them.
Okay,
so in as far as showing that something is true, spiritual experiences, it's better to use practical scientific experiments to demonstrate that.
I don't think so.
To explain
We
it.
don't think so, because to practice doesn't mean science. To practice doesn't mean to make experiment, the kind of experiment usually science is making. Practicing means, for example, sitting and doing meditation. Be patient. Be in the nature. Connect yourself with the. And you don't need to make an experiment about that. You don't don't need other people. They watch you and this and that. It is a experiencing. This is experience, no experiment.
So
we are here speaking about two different things. You are talking about experiments. We are talking about experiencing. Be quiet in yourself. Experience God inside of you. Be quiet with yourself and experience a connection with everything else. You can connect with everything, but you need experience, no experiment. Experiment is something different.
No,
I'm not
I respect to
I'm not making experiment in my life. I'm a practical person. Experience, no experiment.
Is Tantra a science?
Yeah, it's so what?
Okay. So
It's
Tantra
not
is a science. And if I explain to someone, I'm doing this practice, you do the same practice, and see if you get the same result.
Same result, what it means?
So, do you feel bliss as I feel bliss if you do these steps A, B, C, and D? That is science. Science is laying out the steps of a practice. For example, first shuddhi, second shuddhi, third shuddhi, repeat the mantra.
Okay.
You do these
This
steps,
is knowledge.
and you will get
This
the
is
same
knowledge.
result.
This is
Excuse
jnana.
me, I haven't finished.
Okay.
Alright? So, if you do these same steps, you will get the same result. And
This is jnana. This is what Baba say, knowledge. Knowledge. Then you need karma, action. Baba say jnana, karma, bhakti, bhakti, devotion. Not devotion, jnana, and karma. So, concluding, bhakti is the important point. Where you feel bhakti? In your heart, when you connect with your true self. So, science, knowledge, it is, Baba say, excuse me.
Point of order.
Sorry?
Point of order. In a debate, it is usual for a timed discussion on one side and then the opposite on the other. So there should be a facilitator who is monitoring.
Okay,
I didn't finish yet.
Okay.
Are you sure can we facilitate them? Let's.
The other. No.
I was interrupted. Now
she
I was
will do it.
the
I was
line.
Okay, next speaker.
No, but he can conclude her sentence.
Okay, you can conclude first.
You interrupt me, Baba Nankeva. I was in the process.
Let's move
Follow
on. Maybe
to
they have
example.
more comments. Maybe
Yeah.
move on.
My point was knowledge, joy. What you are talking was more on the level of step 1, step 2, knowledge, jnana. Then we need to put in practice this, and then devotion is very important to experience consciousness. That's
Yes.
it. Done. Go.
I would just,
So
come back to
somebody
the
else
point.
want to reply
I don't
then?
disagree with your idea. So yeah, exactly. Devotion is most important, but we are talking about describing spirit consciousness. So
You
coming back
cannot
to the point.
describe. You cannot.
Wait.
Knowledge is a tool that
Come
helps
here.
us describe
The
it.
people can
While
come.
devotion is what actually will help us progress and experience bliss, as you said.
Okay, what do you say about that?
You cannot describe. In
No,
fact,
Didi, let the mother speak now.
because she's talking to me.
No, she was talking to the others.
Can I say?
You are
No.
not one of the speakers.
Point of order.
Okay,
Point of order.
Somebody has to speak from this
Okay,
side. Sorry.
what
Some other.
do you say about her point?
Well, I agree with her point, of course, but we were also talking about dogma, and dogma is something that can affect us both sides in this case, and we were also discussing sometimes science is put against the existence of God or consciousness. For example, in evolutionary theory, if we can prove by science that there is evolution, this means there is no God to a lot of people, and this is a dogma. Like we don't believe this, that one excludes the other. I believe, and so there is a lot of dogma connected to this, and. I think it's important that we are aware of this and that I don't know what my point was really, but that was
Speaking
Wait,
about
his turn.
Wait. I am saying to her because she doesn't remember. Let me say, I'm not answering. She was saying about experiencing, not describing consciousness.
Yeah, I know what she said,
Yeah.
but I said I agree with her, and then I brought up another point of ours about evolutionary theory, and that science can be used both to disprove or prove the existence of God or consciousness. So, which one is correct?
so I think it depends on what is the definition of science. So what I understood as science is that you demonstrate something through an experiment, and that should be repeatable by somebody else who goes through the same steps and gets the same result. Then it's proven, right? So Baba we were discussing 1969 when the Acharyas came to Baba and said, you are requesting us to go out and talk about all these weird philosophical ideas and states of consciousness and something like that. How can we do that if we didn't have any experience? So Baba spent an entire year conducting demonstrations where he proved through getting people to sit down and do meditation and taking them through certain steps. And through these experiments, demonstrated through their own experience the reality of what the philosophical point. So Baba himself used a very logical, scientific approach. Even when he was teaching new concepts like microvita and things like that, he wouldn't just talk about the ideas, he would conduct experiments in front of everybody. And people could see, yes, here is proof that it happens.
So it was experiences.
It depends. What is your definition?
So it was an experience.
No, it depends. What is your definition of science? So my definition of science that I've understood, and I think everybody else has heard the same thing when they grew up, that science is describing a certain experiment, inviting somebody else to go through the same steps and see if it's repeatable. That's why Tantra is a science.
Again, we are confusing experimenting with experience. In Baba time was full of experience. Baba was demonstrating, people were experiencing things. Baba was calling Dadas, Didis and Margis and doing a demonstration, and they were experiencing somebody, experiencing death, experiencing so many things. It was experience, it was not very scientific. There was a science, but the great result was because people were believing, not because Baba was talking, because people were experiencing. So in the end, it's the experience count, it's the devotional count, it's the karma count. Knowledge is the base. Like the plate, Baba said, in the end, when you were eating from the plate of leaves, we throw it, the dogs, they lick it. So this is so the experience really counts, experience of consciousness.
I think she is confusing intellectuality with science.
Yes.
Right? We are not talking about intellectuality. We are talking about a practical scientific approach and using a practical scientific demonstration of things in order to prove something. That Baba did all the time. And when we talk about spiritual states to other people, we can refer to, look, what is your own experience that you have in life? And do you connect with this idea? Do you experience peace of mind when you kind of turn off your phone and close your door, and everybody experiences the same thing? So you give them a practical scientific explanation that they understand.
No confusion. I'm not confused.
You said that the intuition is more valuable, but we saw in many cases that people were really convinced that God is talking to them, that I must go and kill these Sharon Tate and all these people. And they were really completely convinced God spoke to me and I had to do this and that, completely horrible things. And so if they had some rationality, they could have thought for themselves, does it make any sense what I'm going to do? And this, as you said, Bhakti, the real experience of merging into Supreme Consciousness is the highest thing. But it needs a base. This is exactly what you said. And you cannot drink water from the desert. So we need the plate, we need the base, we need some understanding, and it's also our guideline. It's from the start and our guideline. And it's like on the highway you have these borders left and right, and these are some systematic ways. The flow in the middle is the flow. Okay, but the guidelines should be there. Without guidelines, any moment you can just go astray.
Yes.
Yeah, can I just say that you can relate this to our Supreme Command, where it says that without yama and niyama, sadhana is impossible. So, like you said, we need to have the guidelines, because otherwise we don't know where we end up. We could end up doing something horrible, like Didi said, or so we need, and we can also compare it to what you said, that science is the plate. Like, you need the knowledge, you need the scientific approach, but then you also need this intuitional practice. So I would say it's not, one doesn't exclude the other, that would be stupid.
The two are together.
I need to reply to a question also. It's good, very good what you said. Anyhow, he was explaining that people sometimes they tell, I have intuition, do something that was not correct. You are right. But what is the point there is, they are very confused. They think that their God talked inside of them, but it was not God talking inside of them, it was their mind. There is a big difference between mind talking to you to do something and your consciousness talk to you. My experience is that most of the people don't know the difference, and many times they're asking me, but Didi, how I distinguish when the mind is talking to me and when my consciousness is talking to me? So it's true. Some people they do the wrong action because they think God talked to them, but their mind told the wrong thing, to kill someone or this and that. So this is the question, still goes in the same point. Is the consciousness, if the consciousness guide us, we are doing the right thing. If the mind guide us, maybe we do the right thing, maybe not. We do the wrong thing. That's very simple.
Yes, and the argument is that a scientific approach helps us to purify the mind to be really accessible to the divine inspiration and not to go astray.
Purify, Baba in the Vartakism say, purify with the fire of devotion. There is no better fire than devotion. That fire is very
this is a scientific, but exactly this is a scientific statement. The scientific statement is that kind of practice will have that result, and this is science. This is what we say.
But without practice, the knowledge is give us a base, like the plate the dogs licks, no? Then there is action, experience, and devotion. Without that, everything is done like that plate is thrown and nobody remember about it.
And how do you explain that?
Explain what?
That
Just explain.
without the fire of devotion, everything is just garbage. How will you explain that to someone? And how do you explain when you're teaching kirtan to somebody?
Yes.
Do you explain in a rational, scientific way the benefits of kirtan? Or
also, I explain
Yeah.
why the toe, touching the toe, what is the effect, all that things.
Why don't you just use a devotion?
Wait. So I use knowledge. I didn't say knowledge is garbage, I said knowledge is the base. But then without the rest, without practicing the kirtan, without understanding that, as we are talking many times with other people, to really experience bliss, experience joy when you do kirtan, you need to flow with the consciousness. You need to be in the present moment. Feel all your senses. Everything is flowing with your Atman, with consciousness, with Baba.
True.
And then you experience everything. Only knowing, yes, I do this, is just a very dry thing. And what you think? You are caught in your mind and you look, I'm dancing right, I'm dancing wrong, all these things. It is a devotional thing. So, okay, the knowledge, fine, but then you need to practice regularly, experience,
But first,
and then
Didi,
devotion.
First, Didi, you have to persuade someone.
No.
You have to persuade someone to do kirtan. Right?
No.
I have a very, very rational way to make people. But it's not what you think. You know what he thinks.
Ano, Didi Kripa is as facilitator should be just enjoying.
So,
I'm on my own way also.
what? How much time we have still?
3 minutes.
Few minutes?
3 minutes.
2 minutes? 2 minutes?
Can we hear from some other panelists?
Yeah.
Let's hear some.
Yeah, enough.
This group didn't help.
Yes.
You don't have to.
I think Didi spoke for the two of us.
What about you? Brother? That's brother?
Okay, for me, I have to confess that maybe at least me, I misunderstood the point because I understood that consciousness can be explained better with spiritual. I don't know.
Through spirituality. Yes.
I understood consciousness can be understood better with spirituality instead of rationality. Also, rationality can arrive at a certain point. Beyond the point that, in fact, I was saying how they can think. I was curious about to know how somebody can say this, that rationality is only the point to get through consciousness. But we made some example about the subconscious mind has more knowledge about the conscious mind. For example, some hypnosis experiment that proved that people, for example, it was asked to someone who was going from home to his job place. It was get in hypnosis, and it was asked how many street lights there are in the streets you go, and he said 137. It was the right answer. Of course, our conscious mind doesn't count, but all the rest knows so many information, and this is the only starting point that everything is beyond the rationality, is more powerful, is get more consciousness. Or, for example, we talk about bigger forces experimented, for example, in hospital experiences when people prove like some forces make miracles. Some doctors cannot explain why some people has died, but surprisingly get healed. Or for example, the observer in physical theory nowadays, the observer influences the observed object. Through the particle can be waves if nobody observed, but if there is somebody who observed this, they change form, they become particles.
He should be disqualified from the devotion team.
No.
Oh, what else? Okay, maybe.
The interesting thing is we talked a lot about science in the devotional team.
But, yes.
But.
There is
You
a
are
big
using
but.
science to prove your point. Which
No,
is,
no.
Yeah.
I would just like to add
Conclude.
Yes, conclusion.
So there's a difference between knowledge and science, right? Because if we talk about science, we cannot get there with information. We need to put it in practice. We need to practice knowledge. So that's the part of the experience. So I would say that at the end, when we're talking about science, means that you can repeat the same steps and you can have the same result. So at the end, it's not that we are stuck in this rational layer or that we are just using knowledge as the pure base. Experience is more on this side, I would say.
Experience, you say, no? No experiment. Experience, and then the lab for experiment.
Is it your turn though?
His conclusion is
Facilitator.
Okay. Let her finish.
Let her finish.
So at the end is the practice, right? The practical approach that will help us find the truth, because that is what Tantra is about. So if we really want, as Sumadara was talking about dogma, if we want to fight against that, then how can we get there? And that means that we need to be able to experiment with us, with feeling and all of this, follow the practices that having there, and then we are able to observe the result. So my point is, we are on the same page with you when you talk about experience. Experience is needed.
Yes, that's the point. You are in. I will conclude this now. You are in the same page because Tantra is spirituality actually. Yeah, it's a spiritual science. It's a spiritual science.
Okay, intuitional.
Okay.
Tantra is sadhana. Sadhana is tantra, and sadhana is spirituality. Yeah, that's it.
So,
Thank you so much.
everybody won.
Everybody won.
We agreed from the beginning. We agreed from the beginning, some of us.
Is it not normal for the audience to vote on who is the more powerful party?
Yeah.
So,
I don't think so.
No, it's finished.
Well, in this auditory.
You wanted to say something.
Yeah. For example, I was like 4 or 5 times out of mind. It's very hard to explain with mind how is to be out of mind. And I think it's very dangerous, and maybe Dada prepare us. Maybe not all people are ready for that. And all this, what we're teaching is that we use it in the right way out of.
So you are from our side.
I'm
Out of mind.
Out of mind side.
is that a mind?
Okay. What is the next
So-
problem?
It's prachar now. Until 5.
Just now? Just now?
Just now. And 5